Steve Harvey discusses the reasons for leaving his first wife and children homeless. If you were unaware that Steve Harvey was previously married to someone else before meeting Marjorie, Laurie's mother, now would be a good moment to get your head in the right frame of mind, since the specifics of that prior union are much more stunning than you would anticipate. Although Steve and Marjorie Harvey appear to be the epitome of the classic marriage, their relationship appears to have many complexities. Leaving his first wife and biological children homeless, did Steve actually do that? Was Marjorie's decision to wed Steve primarily motivated by success? It's time to learn the whole story about Harvey. Causing the first marriage to suffer. When Steve Harvey was attempting to make ends meet while working as an insurance salesman in Ohio in 1981, he got married to Marcia Harvey. Although Steve worked a variety of odd jobs to make costs meet, his heart was set on being a comedian, which required him to spend long hours away from home. However, they were married for a long time, 14 years, to be exact, and had 2 kids. However, it's said that their marriage broke down while she was with their 3rd child. And what caused the division? According to speculations, the pair broke up after 14 years of marriage as a result of Steve Harvey's propensity for infidelity. Additionally, the fact that Steve was away for many days looking for a break in the comic scene didn't help the situation. After the divorce, Steve left Marcia and their children behind as he pursued stardom while avoiding paying child support. Marcia purposefully maintained a low profile when her marriage failed, thus nothing is known about her. But it's thought that she eventually went on to publish books. Marcia Thoughts from My Mind and Marcia Poems from the Heart are 2 of her books. There are even more juicy information from Steve's subsequent marriage, The Mary That Fought Back, even though we're sure there are some nuggets from her relationship with Steve hidden in those pages. They met when she was a working makeup artist, and Mary Lee Shackelford became Steve Harvey's second wife. In addition, if the gossip on the streets is to be believed, Steve had a relationship with Mary before he ever got a divorce from his first spouse. He was a stand-up comedian when they first met in Texas in 1989, and they went on to have a kid together. Before divorcing in 2005, their 9-year marriage endured. However, getting there was definitely not an easy or smooth path. Several years later Mary made the decision to give her side of the divorce tale by coming out and disclosing a number of rumors and internet hypotheses. This occurred back in 2011. She allegedly discovered a private note from a mistress addressed to Steve at their house. She also said that she answered a call from a lady who identified herself as phoning in search of a job. Mary was concerned about this. She thought the other lady on the conversation was Steve's current wife, Marjorie Bridges, who was his mistress at the time. Discuss drama. Mary also spoke forward to say that Steve Harvey skipped the court and used his connections to forcibly seize custody of their baby. Their custody dispute was still pending in court during all of this. And Mary Shackelford did so even after the judge told her not to discuss the divorce or the custody dispute. And we all know what it means when a woman is despised. Mary started talking before she was prepared to stop, and as a result, she got into difficulty, and in December 2013, she was sentenced to a month in jail for contempt of court. After her time in jail, Mary first appeared to keep quiet, but she later came back more forcefully and filed a lawsuit. Mary took a few years off from fighting after serving some time in prison and lived mostly in quiet. But in 2017, 4 years later, she was prepared to battle once more. She later sued Steve Harvey for $60 million in 2017, citing a number of legal issues, including child endangerment, a portrait, contract violation, and many others. Mary's main defense was that Steve forcibly stole their son away from her, which left her feeling suicidal and despondent, leading her to self-medicate. This is reasonable enough, no? Well, that would have been sufficient to give her an advantage in the legal dispute. But a court flatly rejected several of her arguments. Now, before we go into the specifics of the allegations, let's step back and examine the information she made public that portrayed Steve Harvey as the antagonist in this story. In 2011, Mary Shackelford created a trio of YouTube videos where she spoke at length about her experiences. But the highlights were sufficient to convey the true nature of her nearly 10-year relationship with Steve. In the recordings, Mary disclosed that she thought Marjorie had contacted their marital residence and claimed to be checking on her employment application with Steve's soup company. Mary also explains that when someone calls your house, it's usually because they have a green light. After 16 years of dating, Steve and I finally had to confront the truth about what that phone call had actually done and the events it had sparked. For me, that was incredibly challenging. I did call her and confront her, and she said that she needed to look for a job. I told her that I had no idea I was accepting applications for my kitchen. While she was in the beauty shop, Terry, another one of Steve's mistresses, wrote Mary a private note. The letter, which was addressed to Steve, described their condom use, intense anal intercourse, and an abortion. Mary realized after reading the letter that their marriage would never be the same. Realizing that our second wedding anniversary was when the realization finally hit me. Los Angeles was where I was. Steve was waiting for me to join him in Chicago. I'm getting ready while sitting in my kitchen as my hairstylist is nearby. A parcel that had arrived at the apartment but was actually intended to go to our workplace knocked on the door. I received it from the man, and as soon as I saw it, it appeared to be confidential. During this difficult moment in my life, something just broke down inside of me. When I understood that I wasn't the only one in my husband's relationship, things became much more difficult. Having to cope with that was awful. At the time, I genuinely didn't want to accept it. There were a lot of outside forces surrounding us continuously, Mary noted, and our lifestyle, and Steve's work had really started to advance. She also said that she stayed with Steve despite being aware of his infidelity because she wanted the family she had fought so hard to build for her children. But ultimately, it wasn't worthwhile. Despite Mary's best attempts to keep her family together, Steve did what he did. Before the divorce was officially finalized, he had Mary evicted from her house and assumed custody of their son Winton. When I consider how fast he walked by me and toward Marjorie, I believed that the very least he could do would complete me. Toward the end, it was horrible not to have closure on it. But he also stole my Winton on top of that. He turned my kid against me, got me evicted from our home, and currently has thrown away all of our companies, money, and vehicles. He played all the cards when I was depressed and dejected. He used the legal system against me. He appeared in court and said under oath that he had constructed the entire structure on his own. I just sobbed while sitting at the table. When I awoke, everything had vanished. And that's what set Mary up for the court case. However, when the judge overturned the fact that she actually received 3 homes, it was discovered that she wasn't quite honest. For several months, $1.5 million and $40,000 each month. She purposefully transferred her kid to Harvey without his knowledge, according to documentation the court showed. However, other supporters think that Marjorie is being warned throughout. Could he really have put his ex-wife in, forced her to be homeless? Let us know in the comments below. Head over to this next exciting video for more gist on your favorite celebs.